better to have those.
That's all right.
He'll probably think they're kind of silly conversations, but to me, they're.
Well,
like when the boys are here, he like this last summer, he's angry a lot because he never came to church, and I understood.
well, you got to have a conversation.
I don't want to resent him. Like,
It's important.
And even if you don't like something you agreement you like, it's just the fact that y'all talk about.
and now the girls are getting to the point where the boys are saying that they don't want to go. We have to that kind of stuff. But then again, they are a lot older than the girls, so it's like.
Right, yeah,
And I don't want them to start raising
right.
and saying, they're not getting up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Harley, she's.
Good. See it.
So short, fortunate, mercy day. Not teenage, but getting hooked. He was pretty excited for that shirt. Yeah. Yes. And this shoot. You talking about Mark's wife? Oh, no. So yeah, so Chuck, her husband Chuck. Yeah. Chuck's my first. Oh, yes. Kim and well, actually Kim started. She's almost a year older than me. I mean, she's a year ahead of me. We're only a few months apart.
Your attention. Everything.
Yesterday, like, me and Calvin Wilkes were at the house. And I had it was like, that's 5 or 6 years. His mom was across the street. Yes. Yes. So yeah, he's at their house.
That's why I kept on. Fall break. Are y'all fall break? What's this?
sort of.
Camera. Okay.
I haven't told my dad. Sent him a graduation invitation to. I don't know. Never mind.
The only decision was, which side of
Whether we're so he, hey, Greg, he is his.
Lots and lots and lots and lots of people.
Weird.
You know, they,
Like,
you have a long history
you know, very few. I mean, I know some, not a lot.
going back. Like, my grandfather started in nursing.
They're doing the TCA chant. I was like, no, they're not there.
like a computer, make it big record reading.
I remember I used to was at a basketball game.
Make your savings job.
Well, I mean,
Can't hurt.
it might be just a matter of
Yeah.
We did.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, we-
I think she thinks
Unless it gets just.
It's not really advantage.
More or less, like, something.
yeah, she has zero criteria like
Coach wants. Robert. 15 right now.
Yeah.
Really should be able to.
that was me. I think you did it.
Start.
It was
Especially in church.
3 hours ago.
Several else.
Actually, we have a girl that works for she's friends
Now,
with his
rally.
I mean, already.
Yeah, he was in the state exam.
Yeah.
She said he's like
Everybody
the girl that works for us. Yeah. She went over to their house. One day,
hanging
moved
out
down there, he moved down the gate.
But I think that
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Dude, he basketball coach, bro.
Yeah, but
Gotta give him some credit for that.
he gets a little bit of credit for that, but he was highly pretty much told. Yeah, really don't.
I think
But
so.
I did.
Credit.
I take it.
Both sides.
Not a whole lot else to do.
Florida. He should be good at about everything. It's just because of.
Is that the one that?
You know,
I know what you're doing. No,
To have like a guy that's moved it.
same time.
Yeah. Like the,
yeah, I didn't even know it
the
was.
player that Florida is right now is playing in Missouri. He didn't go away. Damon Williams. If I don't have a Florida edge rusher, quarterback, he's supposed to be the guy. Very promising that he would be. Probably got 5 or 6 out there already.
Yeah, they were telling me, don't just sell it to me.
That's what we just had to do that.
It's just, yeah.
He's worked on for 4 or 5 years.
week up.
That would be
Sounds like I'm
super
old.
frustrating. So,
So much time and effort into, but it's not about the relationship. Yeah. But moving, we know, how to get it.
yeah, I mean, especially.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah. They're all. I don't know how you keeps this. I don't know how much better they.
Oh, yeah.
Looking over.
Florida's better. It's better. I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really bad.
They don't have anybody resting. Really.
Normal kid hour.
They'll be about
40.
They work. Pretty good at that.
That's fine.
Pretty big difference.
Like a cigarette, like, which is like. Nice, yeah.
I don't like it. That's not my favorite word. There it is. There it is. We'll pay a lot of money.
I mean, it was fun to watch. You travel a lot. Actually, it's like I enjoy watching actually. He made some pretty good things.
Usually there's a bunch of trash and someone's driving in the car. None of
We're
our
in the
kids
middle
got
of fall.
sunburned and you take the dumpster. No one got sunburned. I just have some girl.
You get the perfect sunglass
Yeah,
latte.
it's only on this side, but like this side.
We'll go ahead and get started. I knew we'd have several on really this Sunday and next Sunday. A lot of schools are on break. But we got some quality here. So let's start in Deuteronomy chapter 6. I always get confused on this, but let's go ahead and read 4 through 9. Let's just do the whole thing so that nobody has that thing where they continue and somebody does. Deuteronomy 6, 4 through 9. Put that together. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your hearts, with all your soul, with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home, when you walk on the road, you lie down, when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the door frames of your houses and on your gates. So today we're talking about verse 7, we're talking about when you sit at home, and we're talking about that in context of mealtime. So let's look at chapter 2. If you have your book, just kind of read through some of this. Chapter 2 about mealtime. He begins the chapter talking about taking young kids on a vacation and eating at a restaurant. Anybody have any restaurant stories, vacation stories with young kids? Like, is it a big hassle taking young kids to a restaurant?
No, my family doesn't. Unless until we eat outside.
Yeah.
We're part of the Klaus family, so all the time we're used to it since they were a week.
Yeah.
Oh, not early on.
Well, it was like a minute, but we still went.
How are the kids?
You're part of the Klaus family. You're going down.
Yeah. Where you going Sunday?
Tequila. Like told her kindergarten teacher that her favorite restaurant was tequila.
For the longest time, it was the color.
Yeah, they used to call it the place. Sounded better. Now they know their name.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta be careful if they're going to school talking about I love you. Giving the wrong message. So how do the kids do it at restaurants? Are you aware of other people? Are you afraid? Are you just saying? Are the waitress or whoever serving you? Do you apologize? Are the kids good? What do you see? Or what do you see from just other families?
Ours is you throw up and then you
That was one
50
time.
dollars.
It was
Then you
awful.
just leave.
Yeah.
You walk in, she threw up for several takes. Like, I don't know how, but it was like, so I just handed her $50. I'm like, I'm so sorry. That was one time.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah, you don't recover from that.
No, but still they go back.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important for them to like know that their surroundings. My parents kind of probably trained us too much early on. Like, look who's around you. Try to be respectful. Because I do find people eat out at restaurants, especially. Like, you are spending extra money. You are trying to make it special. Their families are trying to make it special. So you need to be mindful that, we don't want to ruin somebody else's time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then we also throw up. So
That's why I don't like to go, because I just ruin the whole place. Like, and it's all for me. It's not fun, but I can't eat my food. They don't. Till they get a little bit older. Because that's why I think I don't feel like I can be so quiet.
Not enjoyable. One of the paragraphs there, he said, bringing any child to a restaurant is always playing a game of chicken with chance. And we had brought one of them. So he talks about, dropping the silverware. It sounded like it was maybe a concrete floor or something, made a lot of noise. Then he gets mad and yells at them. And then he came up with a game, the pepper game. This was a really good idea, like for him to come up with this slide. Anybody have any kind of a game, or a table, or a dinner ritual? Like he kind of talked about this being, when you have the pepper, you have to talk, and you have to answer a question. So they would just go around, and it was a conversational starter, but it also occupied the kids' attention as they passed the pepper. And I thought later on he told the story about, I don't know, maybe it was years later, having someone in their home as a guest, and the kid went and got the pepper grinder and brought it to the table so that the guest could also play the pepper game and answer questions. So anybody have a game like that or anything you've done like that before that's worked or you attempted and it didn't work?
Our kids play with the sweet and ask how many pinks and blues you want, but it's not like a conversation starter. It just keeps them busy. Thankfully, it's funny.
Yeah.
Brown pinks or blues or whites.
With kids on the side, you're kind of okay with that.
Sometimes we play the favorite game. favorite movie? What's your favorite drink? All the things. But we spend a lot of time at restaurants. We have 2 Africans, 2 adopted, 2 of our boys, and like we stay at a hotel where the only choice is to eat at a restaurant or eat like sandwiches that you make in your room. And we adopted here on Valentine's Day. And they were having this big, like, special romantic party, and we were like, we have to eat dinner. So like, we just asked like, what do you want us to do? While y'all like this really nice thing, and they were like, we'll put you in a room in the back. So we had this, like they made it very nice, and like brought us the same food. We hid it away from all the paying, like the people who were coming on dates. But then earlier that day, and we knew like the servers had to stay all day. One of our kids, like they brought this tray. They only have glasses. Like, so they were bringing like apple juice for breakfast, and one of our kids was just trying to help and like pick one up off the tray, which unbalanced the whole thing. He spilled apple juice all over one of the servers who had to stay in those clothes all day long. But they were so kind. And so those were our kids did a lot of origami at the table. We have always tried to stay away from like, here, play games on my phone. We usually have something origami or doing weird things. And so, yeah, but those experiences at a restaurant, like having to on.
I'm not the most calm person. Just, it's like I have to try to say like 1 out of every 5 things that I want to say to kids while they're like in a restaurant. Like, don't do this. Or, like I try to just skip service.
I always say you can clean up a mess way easier than you can take back a lot of noise that you made. So if kids are like rice on the floor, like you can sweep that up. You're like babies, so if you take it away from them and they start crying, clean it up. We can't take it back if they make love.
Yeah. This is pretty good. This is all three. All.
Yeah. But make some points that I had not thought a lot about. There's one section there on I like Kindle because I can make it real big. I can see it. Page 53 on Kindle that says food and conversation in the story of God. I thought this was really an interesting thought you talked about. Is it in the
story of God? Eating is not just some food that allows us to survive. It's a ritual of being with others that allows us to grow.
Let's talk about that for a minute and then keep going. So it's more to this than just being fed. I mean, that's typically what we're thinking. This is something we got to do. They've got to eat. Got to feed them. Then we got to clean it. Whatever. Then we got to do something next. But it allows for conversation that that's part of a silly game. It actually is building, kind of a friendship within your family that is going to be really important moving forward. So let's continue to read about
it's remarkable how spiritual life. Sometimes it's that God is a generous host. Sometimes it teaches us that our responsibility. Sometimes it tells us to be with God. But food just about nourishment. It is always about driving us to a relationship with God.
I thought about that a lot. And you think about Jesus, the Gospel of Luke is really big about it. Like the Jesus having meals and people having meals together in the book of Luke. tax collector. You know, he always goes into their home. And that's what got the Pharisees so mad, because meals, even in that culture, were more important than we think about them at the end of the day. For the next little paragraph, for the family, until it.
For the family, seeing the role of food in the story of God means that we see food in terms of relationship. That means that the family that to become friends needs to take rhythms of food and conversations. But the idea that meal times keystone habits of that household presupposes something fundamental that you eat together in the first place.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Like, have you thought about food and the in-between relationship?
I think talking about this in here, I have thought about it because I think we do. Our family does have a lot of special meal times, whether it's like the gathering or Sunday night eating with our small group or going out to eat with Jackson's family or eating at my parents' house. It's just us. Like, I do feel like most days we have one of those special times. And I get to go see my kids at lunch, so it's special.
Yeah.
I don't always think of it that way, though. We just got something done.
Yeah, I don't think about it in the moment, but think about it.
Think about it, you know. But
I like it. Like, he doesn't try to paint the family as like this being this perfect, orderly thing. He's like, in this case, you know, if I'm getting this one conversation or this one kid opens up about something or tells something, or another kid listens to another kid, like we've done something. There's a win there in building that relationship.
I know with our kids, and we ate at home around the meal table, and and when she was here a few weeks ago, remembered it, and we and everybody, and she said, I always had us pray the same word. And I'm like, what word was that? And she said, we always said, see, everybody pray, but she still remembered it, and it's still something to her that was very important that we did, and we weren't doing it for any. I mean, it was just something we did. It wasn't, but our kids were not big talkers at all, and so they were kind of made to do that. But then they ended up it really being special and being part of what they needed and wanted. And we all did the half deal. That 4 hours.
So probably different than most of your kids. Like our kids, like we had to draw them into conversation. And it wasn't about telling them to be quiet much, but
it's interesting because you think
sometimes in those holiday gatherings, sometimes it's like that conversation turns into a domino game or something like that. Like I thought about this like we moved around all the time, and actually I have 3 younger sisters that I'm not very close to. Like my oldest sister Mary, like I think we could be really good friends, but we just never have spent we didn't grow up spending a lot of time together. We didn't grow up having a lot of conversation. And, you know, I think about, like, you want so much your kids to be friends and have those kind of friends. And, like, we didn't have a lot of extended family. But little extended family I had lived in New Mexico. Didn't live in New Mexico. So, having that extended family can be something that's really important. You know, that I can really comes around the table. What does he mean when he talks about the keystone habit? This is a pretty common phrase now. About keystone habit. What's the difference in it? What is he about keystone habit? Yeah, it's kind of like, this. If you do this one thing, there's going to be other habits that are going to come out as a result. This one thing. If it's eating it, people have done those kinds of things like you exercise. You're going to also do some other things that are healthy. Or if you brush your teeth, it could be keystone habits. But thinking about this keystone habit, but it presupposes that you eat together. What are the obstacles? There's probably more obstacles today to eating together than there ever was. There's so many options. It's incredible. All the different things that you can do. I remember in youth group, we had kids that were like in barrel racing. Barrel racing. When I was growing up, I think there was baseball, basketball, but never barrel racing. And even theater, theater wasn't a big thing in a lot of places that I lived growing up. All these different opportunities, they're all good things. But how do you carve or make the mealtime priority and all that?
The other day we ate at 4:45, and I told Brody wanted to go right after school. He was like, "I'm going to play disc golf," and I was like, "We're eating at 4:45. Why would we eat it?" Because someone has to be somewhere at everybody's gonna be somewhere at 6 o'clock, and we gotta leave at this time. Shepherd's got football. Who wants to eat lasagna at 5:30 when they're playing football at 6? And I was like 4:45. Then I was like, okay, 4:55. But you have to this is our one time a day. So it's gonna be our.
Yeah.
And I think that's and you might get some pushback, a little, and I'll just report, but we as a family ate around the dinner table most nights of the week, and our kids were involved. Youth group, of course, he was youth ministry, we had kids over all the time. That was that. She just looked do this. But we as much as we can. She said, "We know this is great. Broke my heart. This is such a common time for us. I don't see it as special as something that didn't have it." And that just been like, okay, really, we're going to hold on to this. We're going to make this a problem. And it's good. And our kids still do it, and our kids still eat around their families yet. But
Matthew Jasmine, they got to experience that this weekend.
that's why I went to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Forget that.
And that's like when our kids were younger, we wouldn't touch this class. That's because I'm like, no. We're in the thing. I'm not doing this.
I think managing expectations on what any of these keystone habits, we're doing a great job managing expectations. But I think over the last months or year or two, especially with meals, not everybody's going to be happy with their choice. Mm-hmm. So not everybody's going to be at their best. If we have 6 people happily participating, it's good enough. It's kind of, Abby the other day, not buying them, she made a list. Went around and asked everybody, what do you want? What do you want on the meal plan here? This or that, or people aren't all going to be happy with every choice. They're all not going to come to the table. And having a night or two that is something they can actually look forward to.
Yeah. Plan off that we did one night a week. We had what we ordered, and it was everything in the refrigerator. You know, you get what you. And our kids still talk about that. Because then they kind of have a little bit of it. I think I get to warm that up, get to think about it, you know, still do it. And
We call that good for yourself.
yeah.
Like, put it all out.
Yeah.
That's why.
I had PC 9 to 6.
Yeah.
On Sunday night it was PC.
Yeah.
Go in there and figure it out.
Yeah. But they love it for weeks. They didn't do that. But yeah. Every day now, just get up. I know you got to pull it all out. You got to see it all.
But I think that's the point. Like this family meal, like it needs to be a family meal. It doesn't need to be. You're not their restaurant. You're not their server. And he talked about this. You can, as painful and as hard as it would be, you can get them involved in some part of the meal prep and some part of the cleanup. Like that's something that even if you have a dishwasher, you shouldn't miss out on teaching them to load the dishwasher and understanding that when they're done, they're not done. You know, there's more to be done, and it's everyone's responsibility. You know,
We want to pre-plan this next week.
Yeah.
Our kids had a major fail. I was like not home yet, and Ryan had to run someone to practice. So he was like, "Y'all clean off the table. You make pancakes for dinner." They all got distracted. The dog ate the leftovers that Nolan and I were supposed to eat.
Pancakes.
And so then they all felt bad. We're like, Bandit ate our dinner. And they were like, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. But even if they don't clean up, they're not going to. And it's going to be more time. It's going to be more of a hassle for you to help them in meal prep. But the benefit is far outweighs that.
And when your boys grow up, they're good husbands. They know how to do all that stuff. We watch Matthew, and I'm sitting back on. I mean, it's just a neat thing to see your. He didn't just.
You learn that.
He didn't. I mean, but they got that a lot of years of load the dishwasher. Enough afterwards.
It's normal.
It's normal.
It's like what's going to be normal in your house. Yeah.
That's where I'm.
I redo the dishwasher even if my mom puts stuff in there or she puts stuff in there. I'm very
It's in there. It's training. It's training.
There's one way to
You can always
It's more efficient.
There's one way to do the dishwasher.
Yeah,
One way.
I do.
There's
Yeah.
some correct way.
Yeah.
And Matthew,
They can bring it to the
there's one
sink.
way
They can dump their stuff in and bring it to the
Yeah.
sink. I would put it in the dishwasher.
Well, they want to know
There's
who's
one, there's one.
Makes it
No, I want them out of my.
Yeah. But that's a win. Like if they just finish and immediately leave, like what have they learned? You know.
They do. I let them help wipe the table. There are other things I let them help. Not load the dishwasher.
You darn.
just move it around. I let them load it, then I just go. You know?
I like how he talked about they had a rule that you couldn't complain about the.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Rule.
Well, I'm like, gag. Like after I've been standing in the kitchen for an hour, she'll walk up and just gag. And I'm like, just try it. Like,
My
it's
parents
something
made
I know
us
she
say
likes.
I enjoyed my dinner every night. And my mom, and I'm like, No, I make my kids like, thank you for this.
Yeah.
You don't have to say I'm good because you might not. You might not like it, but it's fine. But say thank you for
But
this.
thank you for doing it.
Yes.
Did you, growing up or with your kids, you like, you had to wait or have to be dismissed
Yes.
from the table?
Yes.
Yep.
May I be?
May I be excused?
They
I
don't-
enjoyed
they
my
don't
dinner.
follow it all the time.
No, I'm saying, they were saying we.
That's
Oh,
what I
I-
had growing
kids,
up.
I had sometimes.
And, you know, he talked about, I guess it was with their family meals, they just, you know, passing, sharing. But those are pretty good, just everyday common things. What did you think about, I'd never thought about this, what did you think about what he talked about in starting the meal by lighting the candle?
No,
No.
I'm not doing that.
No, I-
I love that actually.
Yeah, I think,
But I'm a candle person.
yeah,
Like that.
We should swing.
I
But I need to give it like 3 years.
yeah.
I got my candle lamp down
Bring
there.
that.
Yeah, we have a
Candle
few.
lamp when we're on.
But whether it's a game or it's something about whether it's a dinner bell, like there is something about, okay, we've ended this and now we're starting this. Like that.
Sit down.
Podcast about, I think it was all boys, but the dad told the kids, like the boys, like they had to stand behind their chair until like mom finally sit down. It's like
Oh, yeah.
everyone's always eating until like they go ahead, and then like mom finally there's coming. Stand behind. So we try to do that sometimes. We do that sometimes. Stand behind your chair until mom finally sits down.
Maybe you kind of walk in.
Hey, she should get special treatment,
That's good.
okay?
Yeah, and I like the idea he talked about, like, you know, if you hadn't shared, I wouldn't want a kid to be dismissed until before everyone shared. I think there's something about some patience. Or,
Sometimes we just
Unless you
don't
get
notice.
sick.
The table.
It's a lot to share.
Wait a minute. I mean, yeah. So again, I may take all this back in a few years, but from my vantage point right now, this is easy, right? But
Great ideas, all good things.
That's not,
and
and they don't work every time, and it's not be perfect every time. If you prioritize, then it'll work into some good things that come. It's gonna be messy, it's gonna be not gonna work. I'm sure we don't remember all the times that it didn't work.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they remember stuff about it. You know, they remember it pleasant. They do what?
Let's remember everything.
No, they don't remember.
But
But like you said, like you have to like fundamental thing is that you eat together in the first place, and so I think you have one or two good interactions out of one meal. But if you're only doing that very rarely, then the chances are lower that
Right.
you'll find those moments.
and it's that cumulative effect over the years that makes.
This is.
Yeah.
That's what. Even this. Do you think?
You're gonna like it. homework this week is to try something, to have a dinner, a family dinner, and maybe try one or two of these ideas or create some of your own ideas. I do think we ought to come back and talk more about this chapter next week. Like, there were some really good things that I'd not thought about hospitality, which is a very biblical concept that maybe our culture is starting to lose sight of. It used to be a bigger deal where you're inviting people outside of family into you. So I think we ought to come back and talk about some hospitality part of this chapter. So if you haven't read this chapter, this is an easy read. Like, okay. So we listened to it on the way back from, we already read it, we listened to it again on the way back from Starkville last night. You can listen to it in 20 minutes. Pretty easy. That's on 1.2. So let's come back to this chapter next week. Try something. Try some meals. I want to hear some stories, good and bad. Thanks.
He made it.
They counted up.
That is somebody who's just like something.
But they always start stores James. So they move. So you could
That's the worst part.
and so like, they would show up at midway of the year, have to make teams and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell them about one time. That's just a sad story. But you have to know his mom.
My parents were so.
Like, she's
Yeah.
really
So I don't know what happened. Like, high school was moved. Moved like a day or two before school started, and somehow our moving van. I didn't have all I had. And like, I wanted this blue shirt, and I had to wear it probably 2 weeks. It felt like the same thing. And the cutest girl started calling me blue boy.
This is 9th grade.
And I was like, let's go. No, 10th grade. I said, Mom, let's go by. There's a store.
Yeah.
No.
They had plenty of
Wait, little.
That's
a hard way. It wasn't as a compliment. You know?
Yeah.
No.
Well, his uncle was talking about like this, and his like grandfather's approach was like, "This is gonna make you strong. Like you can either fuss about it, or you can just go work harder and be
Like to
better
make the
than
teams and
everyone
make
else."
the grades and get in the classes you're
Yeah.
supposed to and make friends.
Well, you know, I think it did make me. I'm not afraid of it.
It's my
Who he is.